Hello, it's Grant here at On The Wheel, and today I'm test riding the Royal Enfield Continental GT. First impressions already, this is properly cafe racer style, hunched over for me. The foot pegs are really high as well and quite far back. This is a much more sporty position than I'm used to on my bike. It feels good though. It rides nicely. Doesn't seem to have a gear indicator. Engine actually sounds really nice. I assume it's just a parallel twin. It's got quite a nice amount of torque. So the only other Royal Enfield I've ridden up till now has been the Himalayan, which definitely has a lot less power, I would say. That's a really nice feeling bike too. It handles nicely. It's just not particularly powerful. This feels like it's got a lot more grunt, so I'll be interested to get on the dual carriageway and see how we go. While we're waiting at the lights, you've just got your speedo, rev meter, fuel gauge and odometer. So it's fairly basic in terms of your clocks. Everything you need though. It handles really nicely actually. It feels very solid and quite weighty. I'll have to look at the weight specs, but it's nimble. He's going for it. Oh, no man. It feels solid, honest, simple. I can definitely see the appeal. Thinking about the seating position, as I said, it's very kind of hunched over, cafe racery style. It's got clip-on handlebars, although they have little risers on them, so they're not as low as they probably could be. But at the same time, my feet are actually pretty high up, so my legs are quite bent at the knee. The suspension is pretty firm. It's firmer than my MT-07, but that's not difficult. I'd be interested to see if I spent a long time on this bike how I'd feel. Not a huge amount of pressure on my wrists yet, but I've only been on it for 5 minutes. The mirrors work fairly well. I've got quite a lot of my elbow in the mirror, but I could potentially adjust that a bit better. Yeah, it gets briskly up to pace without a problem. Wind blast isn't as bad as I thought it might be. I am quite used to a naked bike. My MT-07's got a little fly screen, but there's probably a bit more buffeting on this than on my MT-07. But it's fairly comfortable. Take some weight off your wrists. Not really worked the front brake yet. It feels... It's not got the most amount of bite, but it works pretty nicely. I really like that parallel twin exhaust note. Acceleration is spot on, I think. I'm not a speed demon, but it's plenty quick enough for me. Engine braking seems fairly strong. Definitely starting to feel it on my wrists now. And my neck. What else have I forgotten to talk about? It's got a digital fuel gauge, which is nice. Nice and clear. Also got your odometer. I'm sure it's got a trip meter too. What's it like for filtering? I'm sure it's fine. This isn't the tightest gap here. Yeah, I'm really not used to this kind of seating position, but it is comfortable. The seat's good. I don't think I could spend a huge amount of time in the saddle, but it feels like the kind of bike you'd use more for short trips, maybe a commute. I don't think you'd be spending a long time in the saddle of this bike. It pulls well, it accelerates well. Wind blast at high speed isn't too bad. I imagine you could probably get a little headlight cowl or screen though if you wanted to. I'm sure there's lots of stuff I've missed out, but this was just to get a bit of a feel. I wonder how long that ride was. It's probably only about 10 minutes. It does feel well balanced. I'm sure slow speed control will be fine actually. It does feel agile, but there's definitely a weight to it. It's quite a reassuring weight. I would say the brakes haven't got the most amount of bite, but they work well. Might just see if I can do some easy U-turns in the old car park here. Nope. I've only ridden this bike for about 10 minutes, but I'm really liking it. There's something nice about Royal Enfield. And the fact that they are A2 friendly is nice. Having this as my first bike at 21 or 22, I'd be quite happy. I guess you've got things like the CBR 500, which is another bike I've not ridden. If you're after something with heritage and legitimate cafe racer styling though, I think you could do a lot worse than this. I'm sure it's quite a head turner as well if you rock up to places. Be good for your distinguished gentleman's ride. I think a lot of people get carried away with horsepower figures and big numbers and huge torque and huge horsepower, but I think this bike, or Royal Enfield in general, kind of proves that you don't necessarily need all of the horsepower to have a really nice, engaging motorcycle. Ugh. Let's have a look at that. So that would irk me. Ooh.